Ready to explore Radiant Life Consulting? We're diving into the world of Christy Park, who transitioned from leading in the boardrooms of Marriott and Louis Vuitton to helping people tap into their potential using energy work.
It is fascinating. It's not just about climbing the corporate ladder, though. Her approach centers around something called the Alive framework, which aims for radical personal evolution.
That sounds intense. Radical personal evolution.
It does make you wonder, how does someone go from the world of luxury brands to this idea of radical personal change?
Well, her journey begins with a struggle, actually. As a teenager and young adult, Christy faced chronic illness, and traditional medicine just wasn't cutting it.
I can imagine how frustrating that must have been. It's something so many people experience.
Exactly. But for Christy, this led her down a path she probably didn't expect. She discovered energy medicine.
She wasn't immediately on board, though. There was skepticism at first, but the results were undeniable.
So she started to experience relief.
Significant relief. Yeah. It was a level of well-being she hadn't felt in years. And this personal transformation, this healing, it really sparked something in her.
So she went from patient to practitioner.
Precisely. She dove headfirst into learning different energy techniques. First, she applied them to herself, then to people around her.
All while still working in the corporate world.
Yes. But a seed had definitely been planted. Eventually, she made the decision to leave her successful corporate career and launch Radiant Life Consulting, merging these two seemingly separate worlds.
It's a fascinating blend, corporate experience and energy work. So how does this Alive Conscious Development program actually work? What's the core philosophy behind it?
It's all about the 5 elements of Alive framework, with activation, leadership, inspiration, vitality, and energy. You can think of it as a roadmap to personal evolution. With activation, it's about sparking that initial change, recognizing what needs to shift. Leadership focuses on stepping into your true power, both personally and professionally.
So not just in a traditional leadership role, but in your own life too.
You got it. Then there's inspiration, connecting with your purpose, finding what truly motivates you.
Makes sense. What about vitality?
Think of vitality as the antidote to burnout. It's about replenishing your energy and approaching life with a renewed sense of well-being.
And energy, of course.
Right, the E stands for energy. But this isn't just your everyday energy. It's about understanding and harnessing your own energy field to make positive changes in your life.
Wow. Okay, so there's a lot to unpack there. It's not just about feeling good. It's about channeling that energy to achieve goals in different areas of your life. I'm guessing her corporate background comes in handy here.
Absolutely. That's what's so cool about Christy's approach. She's not just focused on the woo-woo aspects of energy work. She's grounding it in practical strategies, using her corporate experience to help people achieve real results.
It's practical. I like that. And you mentioned testimonials earlier, right?
Yeah, and they're pretty powerful. People are reporting improvements in their health, breakthroughs in their careers, and a deeper sense of purpose. We have testimonials from executives, entrepreneurs, even healthcare professionals who have experienced tangible benefits from working with Christy.
Fascinating. She offers different services to meet these diverse needs, right? What did we learn about those?
She's got 3 core offerings: individual sessions, a coaching program, and an executive program. The individual sessions are for those looking for a targeted, one-time intervention.
Like a jump start to get things moving.
Exactly. Then there's the coaching program, offering more consistent support over time. It includes regular sessions, weekly check-ins, even a consulting on-call feature.
Consulting on call. That's pretty unique. It sounds like she's really focused on providing that personalized support.
Absolutely. A lot of the testimonials praise that aspect of her work.
What about the executive program? Is that specifically for CEOs and top-level leaders?
Not necessarily. It seems to be for anyone in a leadership position, whether they're leading a team, a department, or a whole organization. The focus is on helping leaders align their energy with their goals, improve their communication and decision-making skills.
So ultimately, to create a better work environment.
You got it. And again, the testimonials back this up. We see examples of teams who've improved their communication, leaders who are more effective, and organizations with a more positive culture overall.
This is way more than just your average self-help program. Christy is truly blending the worlds of corporate strategy and energy work. But how does she actually do it? What methods does she use to tap into this energy and create these transformations?
Now that's where things get really interesting. She draws from a variety of techniques, many with roots in ancient traditions. Things like the Eden method, emotion code, Reiki, they're all designed to work with the body's energy systems.
Hold on, energy systems, emotion code. I think we need to break that down a little for our listener. These aren't exactly everyday concepts.
You're right, let's unpack that. Basically, the idea is that we're more than just our physical bodies. We also have these subtle energy systems that impact our well-being. Think of it as a network of energy pathways flowing through the body, connecting our physical, emotional, and mental states.
Okay, I'm starting to get it. So these techniques Christy uses, they're designed to influence those energy systems in a way that promotes healing and transformation. But how does that translate into real-world results? The kind of results we're seeing in the testimonials.
That's a great question. And it's one we'll explore further in the next part of our deep dive. But before we move on, there's one more important aspect of Christie's approach worth highlighting: her commitment to transparency and ethics.
Oh, yeah, I noticed that too, especially in a field like this where it's easy to make big promises or claim quick fixes.
Right. This is where her corporate background really shines through. She's very upfront about setting realistic expectations. She outlines both the potential benefits and the limitations of her work. And she's also adamant that energy work is not a replacement for traditional healthcare.
That's reassuring. It sounds like she's bridging the gap between these two worlds, integrating energy work and traditional approaches in a way that's both effective and ethical. I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together: her personal journey, program called Alive Conscious Development, these different techniques, her corporate background, and her strong ethics.
It's quite a tapestry, isn't it?
It is.
And we've only just begun to unravel it. They're recognizing that, this yearning for a more vibrant, purposeful life,
Yeah.
it isn't confined to just individuals. It extends to, our workplaces, our communities too.
That's a great point, yeah. You mentioned some really powerful testimonials earlier. Let's dig into those. Dan Moshalko's experience really caught my attention. He's the VP of Research and Media at the Innovative Leadership Institute, so you'd think he'd be all about logic and data.
What's interesting is that he describes this aha moment, like a sudden realization. He talks about discovering this whole new side of himself, a deeper understanding of his motivations and what he wants to achieve.
So it wasn't just surface level stuff.
Not at all. And he credits Christie's approach with helping him bridge the gap between his professional life and his personal life, something he calls integrative consulting.
Integrative consulting, that's a cool way to put it. It highlights how our energy, our personal growth, and our professional success are all intertwined. It's not about separating those parts of ourselves, but finding a way to integrate them into a cohesive whole.
You nailed it. And Dan contrasts this with traditional coaching methods, which he found to be kind of one-dimensional, just focusing on external goals and metrics. He felt like Christie saw him as a whole person, not just a collection of skills or a job title.
I get that. I think so many people are looking for that kind of holistic approach, especially now when everything moves so fast. It's easy to get caught up in the hustle and lose sight of, who we are at our core.
For sure. And that seems to be a common thread in a lot of the testimonials. Remember Christie, the owner of Christie Media? He talks about rediscovering himself, not just professionally, but also on a deeper level. He even mentions experiencing healing, both mentally and physically, which suggests a pretty big transformation.
It makes me think back to Christie's own journey. She started out as a patient struggling with chronic illness. Having that lived experience must shape her approach, giving her this deep understanding of what her clients are going through.
It definitely adds to her credibility. She's not just talking about these concepts theoretically, she's actually embodied them in her own life, and people connect with that, especially if they've faced their own health challenges.
You mentioned a testimonial from a psychotherapist too, right?
Right.
What was her experience?
Mikhail G. She talks about overcoming limitations she had faced for years due to chronic illness. She says Christie's work helped her improve her overall quality of life. And it wasn't just symptom relief. She describes a sense of thriving, of truly living life to the fullest.
That's pretty powerful, especially coming from a healthcare professional. And it reinforces this idea that energy work is about more than just relaxation or managing stress. It has the potential to make real changes in our well-being on many levels. But for someone who's completely new to energy work, all this might sound kind of abstract. How would you explain it to someone who's never encountered it before?
It's a good question. The key is understand that we're all energetic beings, whether we realize it or not. Our bodies are always sending and receiving energy. Think about a time when you walked into a room and the energy just felt different.
Oh, yeah. Or you meet someone and you instantly feel a connection.
Exactly. Those are examples of energy at play.
Okay, so we've all experienced it, even if we don't always think of it as energy.
Right.
How does energy work fit in then?
The idea is that sometimes our energy gets blocked or unbalanced. It could be because of stress, trauma, limiting beliefs, all sorts of things. And these imbalances can manifest in different ways. Physical problems, emotional issues, even feeling stuck in life.
I see.
Energy work is about clearing those blockages and restoring a healthy flow of energy. It's about helping the body's natural healing processes to work better.
So it's not about magic, it's about supporting our own ability to heal. But there are so many types of energy work out there. How do we even begin to understand it all?
That's what makes it so interesting. Christie doesn't just use one method. She uses a variety of techniques, each with its own approach. Some target specific energy points in the body. Others work with the aura, the electromagnetic field that surrounds the body.
Okay.
And some techniques, like the emotion code, address trapped emotions that might be weighing us down.
Wait, trapped emotions? What does that even mean? How can an emotion get trapped and how does it affect us?
It's fascinating. Think about a time you experienced a strong emotion like fear, anger, sadness, even joy. Sometimes, if we don't fully process or release those emotions, they can become trapped in our energy field, creating blocks that affect us physically, emotionally, mentally.
Oh, wow. So the emotion code helps release those trapped emotions, bringing more emotional balance and overall well-being. But how does that connect to the Alive framework we discussed earlier? Is there a link between these energy techniques and those five elements? Activation, leadership, inspiration, vitality, and energy.
Definitely. Activation is about sparking change. Releasing trapped emotions can be that spark, clearing the way for new insights. Leadership often involves emotional intelligence, and dealing with those trapped emotions helps us become more aware of our feelings and manage them better.
So it's not just about feeling better, it's about improving the qualities that make us better leaders in our personal lives and our careers. What about inspiration and vitality? How do those tie in with energy work?
It's hard to feel inspired or energized when we're burdened by trapped emotions. Releasing those blocks can free up our energy, making us feel more alive, more receptive to inspiration. It's like taking off a heavy weight, allowing us to move forward with more ease.
I see. And of course, energy is at the heart of it all. These techniques are about understanding and using our own energy to create change in our lives. It's not passive, it's about actively engaging with our energy field to fuel our growth and transformation.
Exactly. And it goes beyond individual transformation. Remember, Christie also offers programs for teams and organizations.
Oh, right, the executive program. We haven't really talked about that in detail yet. I'm curious to learn how she applies these principles in the workplace.
It's a really fascinating application of her approach. Think about the potential of bringing this holistic perspective to teams and organizations. Leaders with more emotional intelligence, teams communicating better, organizations more aligned with their purpose and values. It's an exciting possibility.
It is. Makes you wonder if this could be the future of leadership. Instead of just focusing on profit and productivity, what if well-being and personal growth were top priorities?
That's a powerful vision, and it seems like Christie is leading the way.
Okay, you've officially got me hooked. Let's explore this executive program in more depth. So we've talked about energy work and personal transformation, but how does that all translate to a corporate setting? I mean, how does she take these methods and scale them up for entire teams and organizations? What's special about this executive program?
Well, it's not your typical leadership training, that's for sure. Christie has over 20 years of experience in these high-pressure environments. Remember, she was in the boardrooms of Marriott and Louis Vuitton, so she knows these challenges firsthand.
She's not just talking theory then. She's bringing real-world experience to the table.
Exactly. And it's not a one-size-fits-all approach either. She tailors it to each organization.
How does that work?
Well, she usually starts with a point of contact within the organization, often a leader, and works with them to define both personal and professional goals.
It sounds like she recognizes that individual well-being is tied to the success of the organization.
Right. It's about a more sustainable and holistic approach. So she uses that Alive framework to dig deeper, understand the team dynamics, their business objectives, even the personal goals of each member.
Okay, that makes sense. But what are some specific challenges that this program addresses? We talked about communication breakdowns earlier. Is that something she tackles?
Think of any common workplace issue: lack of communication, low morale, resistance to change, burnout, conflict between team members. The program addresses all of these, but from an energetic perspective.
Interesting.
So let's say a team's struggling with communication. She might explore whether there are unresolved conflicts causing tension, or maybe people are feeling unheard.
So she's going deeper, looking at the energetic root of the problem, not just telling people to communicate better.
Exactly. Once those energetic blocks are identified, Christie uses different techniques to clear them. It could be individual energy sessions, group exercises, guided meditations, even remote energy work, whatever the team needs.
Do any of the testimonials specifically mention how well this program works?
They do. Maureen Metcalf, the CEO of the Innovative Leadership Institute, mentioned how Christie helped her team work through some serious organizational challenges.
And that led to.
Greater impact for their clients, she says.
Wow, that's pretty compelling coming from a CEO. And you mentioned Dan Michalko from the same organization who saw those profound personal shifts. It seems like Christie's approach really aligns with the Innovative Leadership Institute's values.
It does. They're focused on evolving leadership to meet the challenges of today, finding that balance between profitability and social responsibility, making a positive impact. It all fits with Christie's holistic approach.
So it's not just about making businesses more efficient, it's about making them more conscious and sustainable too.
Exactly. It's about creating a work experience that's fulfilling and impactful for everyone, from individual contributors to the CEO. Imagine, teams working together with more clarity and purpose, leaders who inspire their people, organizations that contribute something positive to the world.
It's a pretty powerful vision. It does make you wonder if this is the future of work. But let's be real. Some people might be hesitant to bring energy work into their workplace. It's still pretty new for a lot of folks.
And that's why Christie's commitment to transparency and ethics is so important. She's very clear that energy work isn't meant to replace traditional leadership or business strategies. It's a complement to those existing methods.
And she's not promising quick fixes, right?
There.
Real change takes time and effort.
Exactly. It's about empowering people to take charge of their own well-being and development, both personally and professionally. And remember, the services disclosure statement and agreement. That outlines her approach, her qualifications, her commitment to confidentiality. It helps build trust right from the start.
That's so important, especially when dealing with something that can seem kind of mysterious or out there. It sounds like she's working to make energy work more understandable and accessible to a wider audience.
That's a great way to put it. She's bridging the gap between ancient wisdom and modern leadership, between personal growth and professional success.
Wow, we've covered so much ground in this deep dive. From Christie's own journey to the Alive framework, those various techniques, her unique approach to leadership, and how organizations can evolve, this has been a fascinating exploration.
Absolutely. We've seen how she combines her corporate experience with this deep understanding of energy work. And those testimonials are really inspiring. They show just how powerful this work can be.
So to our listeners, we leave you with this question. Could tapping into your own energy be the key to unlocking your full potential? Maybe it's time to explore Radiant Life Consulting and see what's possible.